Hello everyone, hope you're all doing well. So today I'm going to take you through a Kayle build. As I said previously, I wanted to make my builds a bit more dynamic, not just say, hey, this is the best build, always go this. Although my build will be a bit more dynamic, I will be sticking to one main core build, which I think is still the best. However, I will show you different variations of starter items, when to go what to do in different situations and so on. So first of all, let's start out with the runes. First of all, I've seen some people talking about grasp on Kayle. I've seen some people talking about fleet footwork on Kayle. I think that both of these are terrible for a few reasons. One, Kayle does not need health at all. She does not need an increase in health. Kayle is effectively an ADC for all intents and purposes. You should be using movement speed in order to kite out your opponent so that your opponent cannot hit you. And you can get movement speed from various different sources. You either use movement speed or you use healing. You almost never want to be going excess HP on Kayle. It's never necessary, right? Even though the secondary runes are good, I would suggest I wouldn't say almost never. I would say never going it. It's simply worse. It's just an inferior rune. You're going to be doing less damage late. It's just a worse rune all in all, right? On Kayle, that is. You might have a better early game. You could argue that grasp is good into matchups that you feel like are going to be very, very difficult. Let's say there's a Kayle into a Renekton, then maybe you could go grasp if you have experience with the rune instead of like a fleet, for example. But I would say generally never go grasp. Fleet, you should almost never go fleet unless you are uncomfortable, very uncomfortable with the matchup. Let's say it's your first time playing against a certain champion, or it's an unknown variable. Let's say they pick like Nyla top, for example, as you're going to see in this video. I didn't know what Nyla top was going to do. I didn't know what she was going to build. She ended up building tank, which was weird. But I didn't go fleet, but I would say going fleet in that situation is for the best. Next, you can choose between lethal tempo or press the attack. Both of these are equally as good, but they just play slightly differently, right? So press the attack is generally more short trades and lethal tempo is generally more long trades. But again, you can mix these up, see what you find to be better, see what you like more, and so on, right? I personally prefer lethal tempo, but I'm not against the idea of press the attack, right? So those are the main runes. In terms of secondary runes and the secondary tree and the smaller runes, I would say go what you want generally. But yeah, so generally that would be, as I said, just go what you want on Kayle in terms of secondary runes. I would say the suggested runes on Riot's page are generally pretty good. Going bone plating or second wind into these sorts of matchups, you know, it depends on the matchup. It would depend on a lot of things, and it'll be hard to go through all of it here. So let's talk about starting items. Generally, starting items can vary quite a bit. If you're into a farm lane, for example, against a Scion, against maybe even a GP, something like this, you want to generally go Cull first. If you're into a lane where they're going to try and attack you a lot, you could argue GP would fall into this as well. You would generally want to go D-Shield. Into a lane where you're going to be, you feel like you can trade early, you feel like you can win that level 1 where Kayle has a passive. I'll get onto that a bit later. Then you can go Doran's Blade, right? Generally, I would say D-Shield 9 times out of 10 is your go-to. You just want to survive the early game. That's your main aim. If you get kills, great. But generally, you don't want to be going for these extremely risky plays. You want to not die, and you want to get EXP. CS is secondary to EXP on Kayle, obviously. You want to be getting that EXP. And generally, dying is a really, really bad way to get EXP. You lose a lot of EXP if you die. So you don't want to die on Kayle. That's a big thing, right? Early, that is. You want to try not to. D-Shield prevents you from dying quite a bit. Doran's Blade also prevents you from dying quite a bit because of the healing which you get from it. So that's your starter item. Now then, let's go on to the main items, the main first items which you want to go on Kayle. There are 5 main options here. Nash's Tooth, Storm Razor, Kraken Slayer, Blade of the Ruined King, and Wit's End. I'll tell you when and why you go all of these. So Nash's Tooth, you go against low mobility bruisers. For example, let's say, what would be a good example of a low mobility bruiser? Like Aatrox, for example, doesn't have too much mobility, is a bruiser, right? Storm Razor, you want to go against high mobility bruisers. For example, your Renekton's, your Rivens, these sorts of champions, right? You want to be going Storm Razor. Why Storm Razor? Storm Razor is a really good item, and I don't know why Kayle players don't build it. The main reason why it's so good against these high mobility champions is because it pretty much gives you the fleet passive with more movement speed but no healing, right? Gives you 45% or 40% movement speed for 1 second after you get up your stacks on the passive, right? That's really good. You can get away from them, you can get onto them if you need to. Either one works well. Gives you crit, gives you attack speed, gives you AD obviously. Has a very nice build path. All in all, a very good item. And then Kraken Slayer. You go Kraken Slayer. Kraken Slayer is generally your bread and butter item. If you don't know what to go Kraken Slayer, right? It's very good against tanks. Blade of the Ruined King, you can also go against tanks, but which one do you pick in what different scenario? If we have a fighter tank, for example a Shen, you would want to go Blade of the Ruined King, because after you fight you have time to heal up with the healing which you get from Blade of the Ruined King. If you're into more of a non-fighter tank, a farming tank, sort of like a Scion, you will go Kraken Slayer over Blade of the Ruined King. And then Witsend into AP. Generally, if they have a strong AP top laner like a Mordekaiser, you normally don't want to be going Kayle, but if you do go Kayle, if you blind pick Kayle for example, then Witsend is what you want to be going first item here. So I'll talk about the benefits, I'll talk about the damage which these items do and what I think generally is the best item if you don't know what to go. As I said, Kraken Slayer is the best, it does the most damage. All in all, you have the potential of crit, you have the third hit passive. All in all, it's going to be doing the most amount of damage for you. And then after that, we have Nash's Tooth, all in all, fairly good item. And then we have Storm Razor after that. And then we have Blades of the Ruined King, which is a bit hard to calculate. And then we have Witsend. Witsend is extremely good late, but not so good early. So as we go into the build, I'll explain more about Witsend. But let me talk about the general build now. So, here's the thing, you never want to go AP on Kayle. I'm sure a lot of you are surprised to hear this. I'm sure a lot of you are used to people talking about, oh, full AP Kayle, all the Kayles go AP, full AP Kayle, it sucks. It's just, it does objectively less damage. I've ran all the numbers of different AP builds. AP will always do less damage than crit, presuming that you have at least 40% crit. You can get unlucky, and if you get unlucky, then AP is going to do more. 10 times out of 10, a full crit build is going to be better than a full AP build. It will do more damage, you're going to get more healing. Crit items generally are more utility based. And yeah, first of all, you have another big reason why you don't want to go AP is because you have no AP mythic. Riftmaker sucks. It's so bad on Kayle. It's awful. One of the worst items you can go. It's absolutely terrible. And Infinity Edge is amazing. One of the best items in the game. Maybe the best item in the game in terms of mythics. People only think it's bad because it feels kind of awkward to build an item first, which gives you a crit amp, but you're only getting like 20% crit. That's why you don't build it first. But yeah, never go AP. There's never a reason to go AP. Even if your whole team is AD, still go AD, because Kayle does innately a mixture of magic and AD damage. Okay, so never go AP. There's never reason to, apart from Nash's Tooth. Nash's Tooth is fine. Other than Nash's Tooth, you don't want to get any AP items. I would say if you're dominating lane, you can get yourself a Dark Seal built into a Medjai's. That's okay. Other than that, no AP. Okay, so now let me run you through a bit of mid-game Kayle, and then we'll go into the full build, right? So after you get your item, or after you are level 11, that is when you get your second evolution, when you start slashing and dashing the waves, right? Slicing and dicing the waves. At this point, you want to get a cull, no matter what. Why do you want to get a cull? Because you're almost always going to utilize the full ability of that cull. You're going to almost always get 100 CS after that point, and yeah, your wave clear is just so good. You're going to be last hitting all the CS. It's going to be amazing, right? That's why you get cull. The extra value which you get from cull is extremely good in this situation, right? You just get so much more gold. It puts you further towards your items, and it's a good investment pretty much. So now let's actually get on into the build, the ideal build on Kayle. So the ideal build on Kayle will look something like this. First of all, you build your starter item, and then After your starter item, you want to build Kraken Slayer. If you already built Kraken Slayer, you can build a few different items. You can, if you're doing badly in lane, you can build yourself an Immortal Shield Bow. If you're doing well in lane and you're against a tank, you can build yourself a Blade of the Ruined King. Pretty much what you want to be doing is building the item which you feel is going to assist you most in the lane, depending on how good or how badly you've done in the lane. But generally, there are a few different items which you can go. I'll list out a few sample ideal builds here. So, for example, you could go Blade of the Ruined King, Kraken Slayer, Infinity Edge, Phantom Dancer, Bloodthirster, and then Wit's End. That's one example build. Another example build would be Kraken Slayer, Nash's Tooth, Infinity Edge, Phantom Dancer, Bloodthirster, and then Wit's End. Right, so there are a few different things you can go here. The big thing, so what I said there, you might want to change the build up a bit. You want to get 2 crit items before you get Infinity Edge. Generally, getting 1 crit item and then Infinity Edge isn't great, but you can do it. If you feel like you're really ahead, or if you feel like the dice are gonna fall in your favor, then sure, why not? The big thing is you want to get 2 crit items and then you get your IE. That's the first thing. The second thing is when you get Wit's End, you want to build it last, pretty much. You want to build Wit's End towards the end of your build. Wit's End is an amazing item. It does a lot of damage regardless of its MR. Great item, and it should always be built on Kayle, right? So that's all I really have to say about the build. I'll say a bit about Kayle's early game. Level 1, you can beat a lot of champions on Kayle if you have lethal tempo. You want to play it around your passive, so you want to get your passive stacked before you go into any fights. When it comes to your Q, you want to hit your Q before you go into any fights, because your Q is your armor and MR shred, which is really, really useful, obviously. And those are the main aspects of Kayle, pretty much. But an ideal build, the best build, the one that does the most damage against most champions, would be a Kraken Slayer into a Nash's Tooth, into a you go Bloodthirster, or you could go an Immortal Shield Bow, into an Infinity Edge, into a Phantom Dancer, into a Wit's End. That would be your ideal high damage build on Kayle. Thank you a lot for watching this part, and now let's move on into the gameplay.
First blood. Double kill. Shut down. down. Killing spree. Plating will fall soon. Shut down. Blue team's turret has been destroyed. Blue team has slain the dragon. Team double kill. Blue team triple kill. Red team's turret has been destroyed. Blue team's turret has been destroyed. Red team's turret has been destroyed. Killing spree. Shut down. Aced. Red team is slain Baron Nashor. Team's turret has been destroyed. Red team's turret has been destroyed. Double kill. Blue team's turret has been destroyed. team's turret has been destroyed. Shut down. Blue team has slain the dragon. Rampage. Killing spree. Blue team double kill. Shut down. Red team's inhibitor has been destroyed. Ace. Red team's turret has been destroyed.